Learn about a special angel's battle against cancer and what her family is now doing to help others. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Fox 43 studio. We're focused on the Shelley Glaspell Sheelard Ewing Sarcoma Fund, and we're visiting with its president and director, Sandy Glaspell. Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Incredible opportunity all week to highlight so much going on within the fund. Having just kicked off the first of the year, of course, it's named in memory of your daughter, Shelley. So much having gone on over the last 12 months and many months fighting this rare bone cancer and dealing with it now as you go forward in Shelley's memory. Thank you so much. You've got a big golf tournament this Friday.
We surely do. We're looking forward to that. This is our first major fundraiser kicking off the foundation, so we're very excited about that.
And it's at Highland Creek Golf Club in Charlotte?
That's correct.
Great, great. Is it looking like it'll be a big turnout?
So far we have probably about 18 corporate sponsors. It's over halfway filled for golfers now, and we have many fun things, lots of prizes, so we're hoping that everyone will attend and have a lot of fun.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let's pray for great weather. Sandy, real quick about yourself. Are you originally from the area?
I'm originally from Charleston, West Virginia, and my husband transferred with U.S. Airways, and we moved to Concord, North Carolina in 1988 with our two daughters.
With two girls.
Two girls.
Yes, and Charlotte tended to be a perfect place. Of course, U.S. Airways has a big hub.
That's correct.
In Charlotte.
Right. We loved it. We wanted to come south. My husband was a little more reluctant, but the girls and I loved it from the moment we got here.
Where are you and your family residing now?
In Concord, North Carolina.
Okay, you've stayed there in Concord.
We've been there
15 years.
No, we've been in Concord 2 years.
Okay. I think there was an article recently appeared in a Charlotte magazine, Charlotte Woman, entitled "On a Wing and a Prayer," recounting your daughter's fight with Ewing sarcoma. Can you share with the viewers a little bit about Ewing sarcoma, what exactly it is, and what you've learned about this disease through Shelley's ordeal?
Sure. Ewing sarcoma is a rare bone cancer. It also has another component, which is a soft connective tissue. Very little is known about Ewing's. When my daughter was first diagnosed with that, that's the first I had ever heard of Ewing's, and I've been in the healthcare industry for a number of years. So it was very startling, very little information available to us at that time.
And you said you've been in the healthcare industry. I forgot to mention that when we started. You're the office administrator for Omni Medical Group. Is that a Charlotte-based group?
It's a physical medicine and rehabilitation facility.
And within that, the group had not had any incidences of seeing patients with Ewing sarcoma?
No, but my daughter did go there once she was diagnosed because we are a pain management facility.
Did your experiences throughout the healthcare industry, having been involved in the healthcare industry over an extended period of time, help you and your family through Shelley's battle with this cancer?
Well, because there was not much information available, the only thing I could find was on the internet, and it's basically the same things over and over. Probably my biggest assistance during that was my affiliation with hospice. I was a hospice office manager in Charleston, West Virginia for 3 years, and also was a home care volunteer for hospice. So that gave me a better understanding of terminally ill and how to cope, and a lot of the teachings of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, which were very helpful.
For viewers who may not be familiar with hospice, is that a regional or a national group?
It's a national organization. In fact, we were the first hospice in West Virginia when I was affiliated with them. So you have to have a life expectancy of 6 months or less to be included in that program. But it is palliative supportive care at home.
How does a family, through this, Sandy, how does a family, either folks you've talked to in support groups or otherwise, working with hospice, so many of the families you came in contact with, how does a family cope or grip with this, recognizing a devastating cancer or a devastating disease hitting a loved one?
That's a great question. you learn to cope. That's just about it. I mean, once you first learn the diagnosis, it's pretty much overwhelming. And there are no support groups for Ewing's. It's typically a pediatric disease. My daughter was an adult when she was diagnosed with the disease. So her relationship towards a younger child was difficult because she wasn't able to relate. So that's what we're hoping to get started, is a support group for adults having Ewing sarcoma.
Will you all still have some interaction with the pediatric side, the children?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely.
You said it's almost, or more likely than not, a pediatric disease. Would that be like 10 to 20 or
Right,
5
the
to...
age criteria is usually 10 to 20. It's extremely rare for someone over 30, and only 5% of the bone cancers are Ewing's.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Son of a gun. I think later in the week, on Thursday, Karen Hogan's coming in, who's a hospital buddy of Shelley's.
That's
and of
correct.
course, she's a little older.
Yes, she is.
That same day, Jay Bolt's a local attorney who lost his leg to Ewing sarcoma in his late teens, was affected dramatically, and of course has been a big stalwart for fighting cancer-related issues in our area. How old was Shelley when she succumbed to her battle?
29.
Is that right?
That's right.
Did she have any children?
She had 2 children, 2 boys, ages 6 and 12.
Do you mind me asking where they are now, Sandy?
We have legal custody of her oldest one, and her youngest one is in Denver with his father.
Is that right? Well, that's obviously during her struggle, Shelley reached out to others fighting the same battle as she was going through. What prompted her to share her experiences when she talked about it? Was there anything? Probably difficult to put into words what prompted her to share those experiences with others. Did she ever talk to you about that?
Oh, most definitely. Night after night we stayed in the hospital, she would like pin me to the wall. Mom, I want you to do this, do that. She pretty much had everything mapped out. She felt that she had her life in order. She was going to beat Ewing's, and she wanted to be someone that could nurture other people going through that type of cancer.
What were some of the ways in which you think she touched others?
She had an infectious personality, very vivacious, genuinely caring. People were just drawn to her. I don't know, she had that special it's just really hard to put in words, but she was like a magnet attracting people to her.
And even that was before, during, and throughout the cancer.
Exactly. Exactly.
Amazing. How did the idea for the Ewing Sarcoma Fund first take shape? Was that something that Shelley began to talk about, or was this purely you and your family and friends and physicians afterwards?
It was afterwards, probably about 2 months afterwards. I just said we need to give back to the community, understand what we went through, so I would like to others not have to go through the same sorts of things we did. So that's when the formulation of the foundation came about.
And it was formalized. Who were some of the folks working with you in creating the organization?
My oldest daughter, Christina, and a friend of ours, a family friend, Carrie, who designed the Shelley bracelet. And it's just sort of mushroomed since then. I've had lots of friends, family, influential contacts that really just want to help see this get started. There is a definite need for it.
How about physicians?
I have 2 prominent physicians in Charleston on my board. Shelley's oncologist and the medical director for the Blumenthal Cancer Center is also on our board.
Is that right? They're in Charlotte.
Yes, sir.
How about the primary mission? Obviously there's an aspect of, since you said it primarily affects pediatric patients or children, since your daughter was 10 years older than the normal skew of children affected, is the mission to make it as simple as possible for folks to understand the disease and how to help form support groups? What's the primary mission of Ewing Sarcoma Fund?
Well, our primary mission right now is to establish those support groups. Secondarily, we would like to raise monies that we would be able to provide funding for patients who are unable to do a lot of the treatment options. we were experiencing sometimes $200 to $300 a week just in copays, and that's with insurance. So it's very extremely expensive when you have out-of-pocket expenses. And then research would be the final component of our mission.
There's so many forms of cancer, and I guess the larger groups, the American Cancer Society and others, are dealing with many types. Do you know how the national organizations, if they siphon off funds in different areas to do research on different forms of cancer, or is it groups like yourself, like the Ewing Sarcoma Fund, that set up a particular focus on a particular cancer?
Right, we're trying to set up a particular focus on a particular cancer. Ewing's is really referred to as one of those orphan diseases. There's just not a lot known about it, and just research funding has not been available for that. So we're hoping to just create an awareness for that type of cancer.
Having kicked off just at the first of the year, you're really at a germinal stage in the launch of the fund. So when I ask if it's been able to help patients and families fighting the disease, just getting the word out probably is a big help.
That's the best thing that we've done so far, is just getting the word out, and I've found that every time we make a public contact, we get more from that. So it's very important.
Who's been a big help in that effort, Sandy?
Oh gosh, that varies. We've had volunteers from different newspapers, magazines, TV media, just coming from everywhere at this point.
How about some of the corporate sponsors for this Friday's golf tournament?
Oh, we have a number of people, the hospital in the area, just various business groups. Well,
sure, there's so many folks involved. I'm sure it's you probably can't even think to name them all.
That is true.
Your website for the fund gives a history of the disease and retells your family's struggle with it. Have others reached out to you through the website?
I have gotten several ewings from our website, which is still in process, but it is a very strong media for us at this point.
And that web address is ewingssarcomafund.com.
That's correct.
Boy, howdy. We're visiting with Sandy Glaspell, the president and director of the Shelley Glaspell Sheelard Ewing Sarcoma Fund, which kicked off the first of the year in memory of her daughter. Sandy, thanks so much for being with us. Look forward to seeing you hopefully later in the week.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Chuck Doby coming up next. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Fox 43 studio. We're focused on the Shelley Glaspell Sheelard Ewing Sarcoma Fund and its golf tournament this Friday. And we're visiting with Chuck Doby, a board member of the Ewing Sarcoma Fund. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in and following Sandy Glaspell, the president and director of the fund. Amazing, obviously, Shelley's mom, to think about all the commitment that Sandy and her family has made, and yourself and all the board members to make this Friday's golf tournament a big success, to make the Beach Boogie concert in October a big success, and to really get the word out about Ewing sarcoma. It's a big deal, Chuck.
Yes, it is.
It really is. Are you originally from the area, Chuck?
No, I'm from Charleston, West Virginia originally.
Okay.
And I came down about 23 years ago.
And you live currently?
I live in Little River.
Oh, great. Okay, great. What brought you to the coast, Chuck?
The beauty of it, the golf, the real estate, the water. It's just a beautiful place to be.
It is. A little different than Charleston, West Virginia.
A little different than Charleston.
A lot of West Virginia folks get down to the Grand Strand.
Yes, they love the same things I think that attracted me to the area.
What had you been doing prior to your move here, Chuck?
I was in the real estate business at home, and we did some apartments in Cross Lanes, West Virginia, and then we did a single-family development out on Coal River, And then when I finished that, we came to the beach.
23 years ago.
23 years ago.
Okay. What's your main business focus now, Chuck?
I owned Cappy's, like we had discussed, for almost 8 years, and now we're getting ready to build some condos on that property.
Great. And that is located in Cherry Grove?
In Cherry Grove, yes.
Okay. For viewers who may not have been there, but Cappy's is still open?
No, Cappy's is closed now.
Okay.
We closed it about a month ago.
Wow. Okay. Boy, an exciting time, and condominiums will be there.
Condominiums.
That's such a prime location. It's beautiful, right out there with the marsh close by.
We're very fortunate to have that. We've been truly blessed.
That is fantastic. Well, what's it like getting out of the restaurant industry, having been there for 8 years, and but always been in development? And you said real estate for the longest time.
But it was time to go. It was. We felt like the land was ready for the condominium, so we decided to close it. But it was a wonderful experience. My wife and I loved it, and you've obviously been there.
Absolutely, many times with Hilda. And
yes,
with
Harry Turner.
And Harry Turner, that's exactly
right.
right.
A lot of people enjoyed Cappy's, and so did we.
Very definitely, very definitely. That's going to be a big transition, but that's exciting for the Cherry Grove area and for really this part of South Carolina. How long have you known the Glaspell family, Chuck?
40 years.
Not to date yourself, that's right. You've known them since
I've known them most of my life.
And the contact, were you in contact with them through Shelley's ordeal with Ewing sarcoma?
I was in contact with the husband, Richard, who I went to school with. And we talked during that time. It was not a pleasant time.
Did you visit with him during that time?
No, I did not. I did not visit with him. I stayed in touch with him by phone, but I did not visit him at that time.
Obviously, Shelley's father's not here this week. We've been focusing on I think her sister Christy is coming in tomorrow. Obviously, her mother's here, and to think about all the impact that cancer has on not only the individual, but so many folks around him or her. It's a really big deal. What was that like communicating with her father during that time, Chuck?
He's a private person and doesn't like to say a whole lot, but he was so upset during this time. It just wasn't a very good time for him. She was a wonderful girl. He has a wonderful family. And there's been many sacrifices made by these people. And anything I can do, I will.
And you're doing it now. Chuck, had you been aware of Shelley's desire to help other cancer patients as a volunteer in the hospital support group?
Yes, her daddy had told me about that, and it was a wonderful thing. And her mother had also mentioned that. She was a good girl. It's a very sad thing.
Chuck, when did you become aware of Sandy's effort to establish the Ewing Sarcoma Fund?
I think it was around March or April.
Just a couple of months ago.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long. And I just wanted to maybe participate and help Sandy any way I could, and Richard.
And you joined the board almost the same time you heard about it.
Yes, I did. I felt like it was a wonderful thing to get involved with.
What's your role on the board, Chuck?
It's basically promotional and to try to call on my friends. And thank God I've got many of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I can talk to about this.
Absolutely.
And they've all kind of encompassed her, so I'm grateful for that also.
You've got friends in the Charlotte area.
I have friends in the Charlotte area also. I've got friends in a lot of places.
I'm sure, Chuck. That's right. But those connections in the Charlotte area, particularly in a germinal stage of the fund, are important to get those folks on board for the golf tournament, for the Beach Boogie concert, so many other areas.
Well, that's why it's so important to have people like Harry Turner and Hilda Carter, who know thousands of people that will help Sandy with this fund. She's a very capable person and can do a good job with this. Glad to be involved.
Absolutely. Chuck, have you been involved in helping to organize the golf tournament?
I have not. I'm a member of the PGA, but I didn't get involved with Sandy too much. We talked several times, but pretty much Sandy has handled this by herself, and she's gotten a lot of people involved in that tournament. And I think Ted Schillard was also a help to Sandy. But she's pretty much done it on her own.
Mm-hmm. It's this Friday.
This coming Friday, the 8th.
That's right, Highland Creek
Highland Creek
Golf Course.
From what I understand, a very, very nice golf course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Should be a big, big day. There's some unusual prizes being offered to contestants. Can you share with the viewers a little bit about some of those prizes?
Well, I need to mention Hooters also. They've been Barry Brooks of Hooters has just been a wonderful person to give us a hand and help us.
Yeah.
But as far as prizes, Sandy would know about the prizes.
Okay.
Also need to mention Mike Marino, who works with Larry Young, who has been a big help to us.
For viewers who may not be familiar with Barry Brooks or Larry Young, share with a little bit about, we've got a few minutes, share with some folks about Barry Brooks and his involvement in Hooters for viewers in the PD or in southeastern North Carolina, outside of Horry County, the bulk of our viewers. Who are those people?
Well, Barry Brooks, I guess I was just lucky. I called Atlanta to talk to someone there about golf tournaments and what I could do to help Sandy. And a lady in that office named Layla said that she would have someone get back to me. Well, sometimes those things don't ever work out.
Yeah, sure.
But within a day and a half or 2 days, Barry Brooks called me from Hooters. And he said, what have you got? What can I help you with? Which is refreshing.
Yeah.
And we got together, and he committed the Hooter girls to the tournament.
Right.
To help us.
In Charlotte.
Yes, and a couple of golf bags and some other things that he's donating to Sandy. And then Mike Marino, Richard, Sandy's husband, and Mike Marino, who is also from Charleston, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
He lives here and works with Larry Young at the Legends. Mm-hmm. And Mike's been a big help to us, too.
Mm-hmm.
We're very fortunate to have these people.
Very definitely, Chuck. It's amazing to think about the impact. And, of course, when you're talking about Barry Brooks, there must be some relation to Bob Brooks there, who's the principal of Hooters.
Yeah, he's the nephew, yeah.
Okay.
Of Bob.
And he has enlisted family to help run the company. That's wonderful.
Yes, he has.
That's wonderful. The Glaspell family has come through a devastating experience, focused on helping other Ewing sarcoma patients and their families. What's impressed you the most about the Glaspells through this process, Chuck?
They're pretty strong people, you know. Richard and I grew up together. We didn't know we were poor, but we didn't understand everything about it. He's a very strong individual, and so is his wife, Sandy. She's from Richwood, I believe, West Virginia. And they're just strong, good people, hard-working. They used to clean airplanes together to send that daughter to college at night after they got off work.
Is that right?
They're good people.
Sandy and her husband.
Used to clean U.S. Planes for U.S. Air.
Is that right? That's fascinating. Obviously, Sandy didn't mention. I mean, I would have had the ability to have asked her that question. All the efforts that are made to raise two girls.
A lot of class and capability there, and most of the people, and all the people that will be here today, hopefully.
All week long. Has your involvement with them as a board member of Shelley's Fund had an impact on you, Chuck Doby?
Oh, I don't think you can get involved in something like this and not have it touch you. There's many things that need to be done for this fund, and I'm pretty committed to this.
Chuck, can we talk real quick about the Beach Boogie concert scheduled for October 10th up there at the Shrine Temple in Charlotte?
Yeah, there's another very, very nice person who's been very nice to Sandy and myself. And that's going to be a pretty good dance. You know, I've booked bands for years, but I mean, there's a lot of bands coming to that thing.
Yeah.
The chairman of the board, and the Band of Gold, Archie Bell. This should be a nice event for Ewing sarcoma.
Absolutely. Billy Scott and the Prophets.
Oh, well, he's one of my favorites.
And Billy's coming in next week to talk a little bit about the concert as well as...
well, I'm glad.
Yes, very definitely.
He's a good friend.
What was that like, Chuck, booking to get off the subject a little bit, booking bands in your own place and coming in contact with them and being on a first name basis with lots of folks. What's that like over the 8-year period? Or were you doing that prior to opening Cappy's?
No, I was never involved in booking bands up until Cappy's. But what a pleasant thing that turned out to be, to meet people like Bill Pickney and of course Harry Turner knows all those people. And
sure.
It's just wild. Harvey Fuqua has been in my restaurant with the Moon Goes, and there's just several stars that have been there from the 50s, 60s. It's just it was an amazing experience for me.
Yeah, it's very.
Bill Pickney's a dear friend.
And those same experiences are experiences you want to pass on to the Glaspells now, and to so many of the folks to help the Ewing Sarcoma Fund.
Just that we can help, yeah.
Just if we can help are the words of Chuck Doby, one of the board members of the Shelley Glaspell Sheelard Ewing Sarcoma Fund. An amazing week. Chuck, thanks so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having us.
Definitely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Sandy Glaspell and Chuck Doby for making such a commitment to fight this rare disease. Check them out at EwingSarcomaFund.com.